Hello everyone, very warm welcome to this demo session on S4 HANA cum ABAP on HANA training. First time live on YouTube channel with Anubhav Oberoi. In this demo session, we will look at the key capabilities of ABAP on HANA, the difference between ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA, and we will also take up a small demo scenario to build our end-to-end analytics on S4 HANA system. So let's get started our demo session first with the architecture, a quick basic introduction of three-tier architecture. And this diagram will help us to understand what is ABAP on HANA. So let's understand the three-tier architecture. We all are well aware of the presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. So what has happened over the past couple of years was SAP has introduced this new in-memory database called SAP HANA, which stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance. This is an in-memory database which keeps all the data in the RAM. As a result of that, you would get a great performance, not just by keeping the data in the RAM, but also it helps in order to improve the architecture of the database, which gives you a great advantage in terms of performance improvement. And now with introduction of SAP HANA database, your applications which were earlier built on ABAP system can now run on HANA database as a new in-memory database. So now we have got also an improved application layer with the new capabilities, which we will be also going through this course. And also some of these we will see it in today's session, like CDS views. And then finally comes the presentation layer, which is now being changed. And most of the apps are being delivered with the help of Fiori user experience. Fiori user experience is the new user interface or user experience for the end users, which allows you to build responsive web applications which can run on mobile, tablet, and desktop. The idea is to write one code which supports all the devices and gets you a great level of experience with new capabilities like draft, immediate feedback, collaboration, supporting millions of users in one go with the RESTful architecture. All of these benefits, we get it with SAP Fiori. So that's our traditional three-tier architecture. So if you see, there were great level of improvements in this architecture with Fiori and improvements in application layer. And finally, the database was changed to HANA database. And that has now become ABAP on HANA. As you can see, your ABAP system is actually running on top of a HANA database, which is an in-memory database. As a result of that, this is considered to be an ABAP on HANA system. So that's the technology side of it. Now, let's look at the solution side of it. What has SAP have done in the past? So SAP has actually improved their product portfolio also in terms of their offerings. So if you see, the first release of SAP was SAP R1 in 1972. And then we had got 1979 SAP R2. And then in 1991, SAP has introduced SAP R3. R stands for real time and 3 stands for three-tier architecture. And this was actually the main turnaround to introduce new type of solutions, so-called ECC or Business Suite. These are all the solutions which SAP has offered, controlling all the department integrations, including purchasing, materials management, production planning, supplier relationship management, customer relationship management, financials and controlling. All of these are part of the solution which SAP sells. So when your company go to buy an SAP solution, they will actually be buying a solution rather than the technology, right? So that's what exactly SAP have done. They have got you these solutions, and these solutions are based on your technology called ABAP, Advanced Business Application Programming. And sometimes we also have technologies like BW technologies, which SAP use to deliver you these solutions. So then what has happened in the year 2015, around September, is when they have got this new ABAP on HANA, whereas a BAP system can now run on HANA database directly. Starting SAP NetWeaver 7.4 SP SP6 and SAP S4, SAP HANA database SP6 and NetWeaver 7.4 onwards. So this has given a new opportunity to the market to run the existing solutions on HANA. Point one, and that became a suite on HANA, and then also a completely new, redesigned, rethought of solution called S4 HANA. Just to add on an additional information that by 2025, the business suite support will end, and all of your companies who are using SAP solutions, they all will be on SAP S4 HANA. That's why it is quite essential today for us to learn and understand the core concepts of ABAP on HANA so that we all as a developer can plan our move to S4 HANA and we can develop the application. We can understand what will be the new paradigm, programming paradigm on S4 HANA for SAP technical developers and consultants. So let's talk about now the differences. So it's very much apparent, the difference between ABAP on HANA and S4 HANA. And of course, the difference is ABAP on HANA is the technology, which when combined with Fiori user experience, integrations, and technological advancements like CDS views and simplification of data, it becomes SAP S4 HANA solution. So just very important to note here that S4 HANA is a solution and ABAP on HANA is the technology which is used to build the solution. So to build this solution, not just ABAP on HANA is used, but also the Fiori user experience plays a very critical role. We have concepts of integrations like portal integration, third-party integration, IoT integration, integration with big data. All of these comes live in action, and then technological advancement like inbuilt machine learning, embedded analytics. All of these things together makes this solution called S4 HANA. That's the latest ERP solution in the market, starting year 2015, and this will be the foreseeable feature for SAP solutions in coming many years. So Business Suite will retire 2025, and from there onwards there will be only S4 HANA solution. So maybe your company is already running your system on HANA database. Maybe you're running your suite system on HANA database, or maybe your company is planning to move to S4 HANA or will be already working on S4 HANA. In that case, this course is very much suitable and best fit for you. So now let's understand what will you be getting at the end of this course and what are all our course goals. So our course is designed for anyone who is willing to learn S4 HANA, Suite on HANA products. They are working on any of these products, and more or less you want to, as a developer or technical consultant, even a functional consultant or a BW consultant, you're willing to learn the core concepts of ABAP on HANA technologies. All of you have heard about core data services, CDS views, CDS technologies, Fiori user experiences, OData services. All of these things are kind of, very confusing for you. And this is the goal for our course will be. We will be understanding how to utilize these core concepts of ABAP on HANA technology to plan our move to S4 HANA solutions, and finally be building beautiful Fiori applications end-to-end on an S4 HANA system. So now going a little bit deeper into this pillar diagram, we will understand what are the main pillars of this course, what will be our goals for this course. So let's get into this one and try to understand what are all the core things which we will be learning in coming days. So as you can see, the foundation of this building is built on in-memory database called HANA. And then we have these four most important pillars which we will be learning throughout this course. The four phases I call them. The first one will be setting up your development environment, including ABAP development tool in Eclipse ADT, and learning the new ABAP syntax with starting NetWeaver 7.4 and then 7.5. Then in the phase 2, we will talk about the custom code migration to S4. So basically, when your company plan a move from Suite system to S4 HANA system, it's not an upgrade. It's basically a system conversion. So conversion means majority of the things which you were kind of earlier using them, they were no more be applicable. Some of them will not be applicable. SAP have made changes to their data models. They have removed certain tables. They have combined certain tables together into one table, multiple table into one table. Certain fields have been removed. Certain transaction codes have been made deprecated. So all of these things which has happened in this new solution simplified suite. We will see that how can then you adopt your custom code which you have written in the past when your company moves to S4 HANA and what it means for you. We will also talk about improvements in performance. So we'll learn about tools and techniques to improve the performance of your existing custom code by utilizing SQL traces and understanding SQL worklist monitor, and also learning the performance guidelines end to end, including how do you check whether this code will work good or not on S4 HANA system. Then the pillar number 3, which is the CDS view and AMDP with OData services, very important part. It takes almost 30 to 40% of our course weightage, where we will learn about core data services. You must have heard about them. That's the new way of designing or exposing data from an S4 system. And expose means it could be any expose for the purpose of analytics, for the purpose of building UI applications, for the purpose of building reports or enhancements. This will be the new way of building your data models, building your application logic, along with ABAP managed data procedures. We will be learning all of that along with OData services in the pillar number 3 or the phase 3 of our course. And finally, we will learn advanced concepts like integrated data access framework for ALV and also the fuzzy search capability. Together with all of this, there will be lots of learning in context of tooling, improvements in the language, and also what does the sense it makes to build these different scenarios on CDS. Not just the scenarios, but also how can you apply security on the data which you're exposing over the CDS, including the naming convention, the gold standards. Remember, the so important thing here is to make sure that we meet the gold standard. Anybody can develop, but what could be a good development? What could be ideal development which will make you isolate from future heavy maintenance or rework? So these are all some of the guidelines. We will be learning the naming convention and how the standard objects can be found out in the system. And then on the top of the building, we'll have the Fiori user experience with OData services, showcasing some real beautiful scenarios. End-to-end S4 HANA POC will be building. We'll be doing OIA scenario, hierarchy CDS scenario with a tree table. We will also talk about the concepts of building BOPF-based transactional app using Fiori and OData on top of CDS views. So all of this we will be talking. So as again, moving towards a little bit more closer to the content, we will first have the in-memory database capabilities with HANA Foundation. A very important thing to note that there is zero prerequisite for you to know SAP HANA. If you are very new to SAP HANA, have no idea what HANA is all about, it's okay. There is zero prerequisite to learn ABAP on HANA with Anubhav in this course. And then we will move about the concepts of HANA architecture. We'll learn about data modeling in HANA, creating views in HANA, exposing the view data to your BW system or an ABAP system from HANA system. We will learn a deep dive inside SQL Script. We'll learn this new programming language called SQL Script in HANA, talk about the concepts of schemas and artifacts in SAP HANA with lots of powerful scenarios we'll be building throughout this course. Moving to the pillars, the core pillars here on the S4 HANA side, we will learn about ADT, the ABAP development tool. As I mentioned, this is the preferred tool for developing all the brand new type of applications. We will learn how to set up the ADT free in your system, what are all the steps to do so, and it will be pretty much hands-on with real-time examples in the system. Majority of my sessions will be completely based on hands-on. We'll have 30% theory and 70% of the practicals in the session. We will talk about in phase 2 about S4 HANA readiness. What about your company plan, your move from a non-HANA DB to HANA DB? What does it mean for you? And what about your company plan, a move from your business suite to S4 HANA, what it means for you as a developer? And how can you safeguard your custom code with readiness check 2.0 and 1.0 in the system? In phase 3, we will be welcome to the new world of core data services, CDS views, AMDPs, and the new programming paradigm on S/4HANA with OData and Fiori UX, including the security of the data using CDS DCL concepts. And finally, the advanced frameworks with integrated data access for ELV and fault tolerance search with fuzzy search mechanisms in SAP HANA to build our end-to-end application for the end user. And last phase is the top, which is what the front end part, the user interface. We learn some of the amazing UI buildings, including dashboard application, the analytic Fiori apps, and report application using Smart Filter as part of our S/4HANA system. Together with that, we'll also learn some of the pillars of S/4HANA embedded analytics as part of this course, so that you will get used to how to utilize the power of S4 for your end user in built-in analytic applications. So this will be, in a nutshell, our development will be end-to-end during next 40 hours or more, and the classes will be on live mode on weekends, 7 to 9, regularly on weekends, 7 to 9 p.m. IST time zone. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. So today we will look at this scenario. So we need to utilize our capability of S/4HANA and build a dashboard application like shown below in the screenshot, where we want to show total sales of a company per customer and also per country in a pie chart using S/4HANA embedded analytics. So you can see the screenshots below taken from the live application. This is what we want to build. Now, how do we build that in the system, live in action, and how do we expose this to the end user is what we will be seeing in the system. Please hold on your questions. I will be taking up all your questions in this session towards the very end. You can also drop me an email. You can find the link and my email ID in the description of this video, so that you can also send me an email at the end of the session once it's completed. Okay, so let's move on and look at the steps we will be doing, which we will be following in order to complete this demo scenario, which we are going to discuss in this demo. Remember, this is just a demo session. There will be, of course, detailed sessions which are planned. I will not be able to showcase all 40 hours today in this demo session, but of course, there are more detailed sessions planned consecutively where we will be talking about these things very much from the scratch. So if you are an absolute beginner with S4, absolute beginner with ABAP on HANA, don't worry. This is the right place where you are. You will be learning all this from very basics and scratch from the beginning. All right. So right now, this is since a demo session, just wanted to show you how will it look like. Just wanted to give you kind of an overview to you all. How will the course will continue, and then of course just have a look at things in the system, and then probably wrap up the demo with the contact details. So that's the whole idea. Of course, our sessions are starting over the weekend, so you can join them from anubhavtrainings.com, and then you can subscribe the course and then be part of this amazing journey on S/4HANA. So let's start with the steps. So first step, we will be creating CDS views for this requirement, and I will be using sample EPM tables. So there will be two database tables we will be using: SNWD underscore BPA, business partner information. The second table will be SNWD underscore AD, the address table, which is going to hold the business partner address. And then we will be using SNWD underscore sales order table, which holds the total sales orders by different companies. So we will be creating here three views. The first one will be an interface view for the business partner and the address data. Then we will be creating a composite view to join the business partner data with the transaction data, the sales order data. And finally, we will be creating a consumption view to expose this data out to our S/4HANA embedded analytics. That will be step number one. Then in step number two, I will be adding the annotations to our view to make this data visible to the S/4HANA embedded analytics. Okay, S4 embedded analytics. And then finally, in the last phase, we will just visualize the data in form of charts into the S4 Embedded Analytics app. So these are all the 3 steps, easy steps. So let's look at also the weightage of each of these steps. So how much will be the weightage of each one of them? As you can see in this, 70% of our effort will be spent on building the CDS views in the S4 for the business partner and sales orders. And then 25% of the effort will be going in building the annotations for the analytics. And then last 5% will be to consume the data and show the result to the end user and expose it as a tile to the end user on the homepage of the Fiori Launchpad. These are all the 3 things. So many things. Since your basics are kind of not so strong at this moment, you may not be able to grasp it. But overall, as a scenario, if you observe this, you will be pretty much comfortable to see and visualize the final result. But of course, when we start our classes from the next session onwards, we will be learning all these things from very much scratch. So let me switch to our development environment, so-called ABAP development tool on Eclipse, where I've already connected my S4 system over here. Now, how did I got this development environment installed in my computer? How did I connect to my S4 instance? All of these details will be shared in our next unit, which is setting up your development environment. That is our first unit starting next weekend. So you can be part of the batch to understand this from very, very scratch. But I will straight away jump to the package and I will create our first CDS view. Now, what is CDS view? What exactly it means? Where did this concept have come from? All these things, including the myths around the CDS view, interview questions and certification questions will be covered as part of our course. So maybe right away I'll start with the creating our first CDS view. So I'll just follow the naming convention, ZATS, Anubhav trainings _I in interface view, and I will be creating our first interface view, business partner. So let's create business partner interface view. This is step number 1. Say next. And define this as a very simple business partner view. So I will be selecting data from some demo tables. I will explain about the demo data model in unit number 4. We will talk about the enterprise procurement model we will be using throughout this course in unit number 4. So let me just give ZATSI business partner. And I'll just choose a table SNWD-BPA as business partner table. And I will be joining this data with the address data of the business partner. So that is stored in another table, SNWD ED table as address on business partner dot. We will be using the buyer GUID, the address GUID. So what are the relationships between these tables? How does the EPM model look like? All of these will be covered in unit number 4. And of course, we'll learn about the basics of CDS also in our unit number 11. What is the CDS means? Just an important point to note here. Those who are not so familiar with ABAP programming language, those who are joining my course as a BW expert, you have worked on a BW and now your company is asking you to build the embedded analytics or build the analytics using CDS views, this course is very much relevant. There is no ABAP knowledge required to build CDS views. Exactly. No ABAP knowledge required to build CDS views. Exactly, guys. That's very important note. So I'm going to put here a key from business partner table node key. And then we will just choose here the company name from business partner table. And finally, I will be using from the address table, the country. So these are all the information I want to expose out. I'm going to save this. And let's activate our view. Very simple one. Okay, there's an error. So this is interesting. So whenever you get an error, you can always go back and check here this console section to see what's the problem. So you see SNWD BPA does not exist or not active. Yeah. So this is the problem it's giving me. So actually I've done a little bit of typo. The table name is SNWD, not SWND. Yeah, that's very important. And now let's activate. You see the error is gone. That's a pretty much handy information. on Eclipse, and I'll just activate. So guys, you don't need ABAP programming knowledge to build CDS views. Those who come from BW background, this is as new as for you as for ABAP developers as well. And we will be going through these concepts step by step without really, caring about whether you know something or not. And all of these things are known as annotations. We'll have a deep discussion in unit number 13 on these annotations in the system. So let's move to the next one. Step number 2 is creating a composite view. So ZATS underscore composite view for sales and business partner, sales BP, sales and business partner, composite CDS view. Let's say finish. And the composite view is actually a view which selects the data from another CDS view, right? So the another one which you just created, we're going to select data from there. Yeah. So let's copy the name here, this one, CDS view name, and we will just select the data from our database table, SNWD SO as sales order table. And this data we will be joining with our another CDS view as business partner on the join condition, sales order dot buyer GUID, who buy your product is equals to the business partner node key. So it's kind of a join which we created between these two tables. Don't panic about these tables. We will discuss them in detail in one of our chapter called EPM data model, chapter number 3 in our classes. So this is just a demo session again to get you guys familiarized with the style of training, the teaching way, teaching methodology, and showcasing something which you can relate to your real productive application, and you get some kind of hand-holding and understanding about the overall big picture of S4HANA, just a demo session, all right? We'll have detailed discussion on these things later point of time going when we start our classes. So node key, and just going to come down, and let's also put the properties which we want. So I want also the gross amount from the sales order. So gross amount, and I want sales order currency code. And then we will just go ahead and choose here business partner dot company name and business partner dot country. And of course, business partner dot node key. These things we will be just putting in here. Fantastic. So now this is BP key, or yeah, I just save this. Nice. And now we got this view. So, but interestingly, now since we want to build here the analytics, if you just go back to my previous slide, you would see that what we want to achieve, we want to build an analytics here. And this analytics shows that total sales per company. So the idea here is to total the sale per company. Okay, we need to total it up. So in order to do this total, we have to use an annotation here as part of CDS, and that comes just above the gross amount, because this is what we need to total. And that annotation is called default aggregation. And we just add, hey, I want to total the gross amount. So this is called semantically rich data model. That's why CDS are known as semantically rich data model. So in order to total the gross amount, you don't have to write gross amount plus, or you don't have to loop over the data like we used to do in the past. We just have to add this guy, and that's it. System will take care of totaling up the gross amount. Yes, that's the beauty. Now, together with that, we have to also say that this gross amount will be my measure. So whenever you want to build a chart, like in school days, we learn building chart, we always have x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis, we will put our category, and on y-axis, we put the measures. Yeah. So here we put the dimensions, and here we put the measures. So measures are nothing but numeric values. Always measures are numeric. They are KPIs. Like, for example, an employee KPI can be how much salary they are taking, how many defects a developer has fixed, how many lines of code they have generated in last year, how many innovations they have they've got to their company. So it's always a number. That's what a KPI is. You can always do a total of a number only. You cannot do a total of company names. Yeah, that's not a measure. So in order to make the gross amount as a measure, we also have to use another annotation. It's called semantic annotation dot amount dot currency code, and then inside this we have to put our column name which represents a currency for this amount. That's what we have to do. And for that we also have to say that below currency code field is my currency code as true. So this guy represents a currency code, and then for this gross amount the currency code is stored here. So you have to just come back and just maintain the currency code. Control space is for code completion, and just mark this. This is extremely important. Very simple, and we'll just save this. We will have a detailed discussion about this annotation in chapter number 15, when I will teach you the concepts of building detailed analytics with S4. Okay. Now, together with that, we have to also mark this view as a cube view. So let's come to analytics annotation, data category as cube, and then we also have to say analytics dot data extraction dot enabled is true, and we will just activate this, the composite view over here. Wow, amazing, it got activated. You can also quickly do a data preview by pressing F8 on your keyboard, and this will run the view, and it shows you the sales for each of the company along with the business partner country. So you see US country, this is the sales in euros. Fantastic. Come back. And now it's time to build the last, not the least, but the final consumption view on top of this composite view. So all of this is called view on view concept for S4, and we will be learning the naming convention and this concept. What is an interface view? What is a composite view? What is a consumption view? We'll be learning that in chapter number 14 when we'll start with S4 HANA CDS view building. So now let's move on to the last step of building the final CDS view. So ZETS underscore C, and we'll say my sales analytic view. It's a sales consumption CDS view for analytics, and we can just say finish. And of course we need to now just select the data from the below step, ADS C, and just come inside, copy this name and select that as a data source, control space, and you can insert everything out here. So we've got gross amount, currency code, company name, country, and BP key along with the node key for the records. And finally, just add here another annotation, analytic.data category as, it should be analytic dot data extraction dot enable as true, and finally analytic query. This has to be query because only analytic query can be consumed in S4 HANA embedded analytics. So I just put these two annotations, and finally, since we want to consume this in embedded analytics Fiori app, then in that case we have to also add an OData service annotation here. So OData.publish as true. This is a very important step, without which you cannot consume this in the browser-based user interfaces. So in order to consume the data out of your CDS view over the browser in a Fiori app, no matter whether it's your own Fiori app or SAP delivered Fiori app, it is mandatory to make this as OData publish true. So that creates a service out of it. We will also have detailed discussion on what is exactly an OData service is all about, and how can we create OData services as part of our S4 views. I'm going to save this. And finally, let's activate this consumption CDS. That's why it's called consumption CDS views, because we are going to consume the output of this in our final app. All right, got activated. Fantastic. And now you see a little tiny warning symbol here that this OData has been activated, but right now the service is not active. So basically there are two aspects of it. One is the OData definition and one is OData registration. So the definition is completed automatically, but registration is pending. So we have to expose this OData service as a and we need to register this. When you register, what happens? System behind the scene creates a SICF node. And SICF node is part of your Internet Communication Manager in SAP system to actually expose the data out in form of a service. So that's the last step. For that, I can just open Control 6 and open an SAP GUI window to go to transaction code main service. Don't worry, we'll have a detailed discussion in chapter number 11 on the OData service registration part. What does it mean for you and how does it affect you as a developer, and how should you go about it for the OData services? So we'll have a detailed discussion on that. I can just click on add service and come back and just put local because it's an embedded deployment. And now I just enter the name of the CDS service. All right, it's displayed here. Just select and register. It's a one-time activity, once in a lifetime activity to register the service. And that's it. Fantastic. So now we have got this service registered. So that's the last step. So by far we have completed two of the very important steps in this scenario. So 70% of the time we spent on building the CDS views. Then we have registered that, and also we have spent about 25% of our time on adding those annotations. If you really remember, this is quite critical. Those annotations which we had put here to inform the analytic engines that please consider totaling of the gross amount, and please consider this as our measure, and this is our one of the measure attributes. So once this is done, it's time to see the analytic result on the S4 HANA embedded analytics. So for that, I switch to the SAP system, my Fiori Launchpad. That's a central access point for all the Fiori apps in the system. So we just quickly go here. And you can launch this application from scratch. Let me just show you launching this from SAP system. We can go back and enter transaction code /n/UI2/FLP. FLP stands for Fiori Launchpad. Press enter. And this would launch a browser. Now I can copy the URL. Maybe I love to use Chrome browser. Just place it here in the Chrome browser here. So now it will start our Fiori Launchpad. That's a central access point for all the Fiori application. Either you build your own application, which we will be doing in this course, or you use a standard SAP delivered application. You can see all of them here at one central place. You won't be sharing the URL of each application with your end user. Rather, you will be just giving this T code to the end user, and they will access all the S4 applications over here. And now, if you just quickly click on this little tiny arrow, you will find something called Query Browser Group. So let me just scroll down and try to look forward for Query Browser Group, so that we can just quickly go ahead and straight away jump to the S4 HANA Embedded Analytics app to visit this result in the analytic dashboard. So that's the beauty of an S4 system. It gives you built-in analytics. Yeah. That's why it's called embedded analytics, because it gives you built-in analytic capabilities. You don't have to buy license for separate BW system. This is one single system which is able to do both the transactional processing and the analytic processing together on a single system. And that's why your company will be saving a lot of cost and getting a great advantage. So I'm not able to find the group here. Maybe I can straight away search here, and we can say Query Browser app. So just click on the display search. And just click on display. I'm searching this app. Yeah, system can find the app, and it opens the app also, the Query Browser app. And now it's time to go back to the system and search our consumption view name, which is this one. Copy that, go back to the Query Browser app, and I can just search for my query, which I've created already. And I just click the search button. Yes, you can see sales consumption CDS view for analytics. We've got this. Click on it. It shows you all the columns which we have created as part of our CDS, Core Data Service view. Yeah, node key, cross amount, currency code, company name. Yeah, let's click on Open for Analysis. This is called S4HANA Embedded Analytics. So you have it embedded as part of system. No extra licensing cost or fee is needed for your company to buy this solution. Actually, this is absolutely part of your SAP solution inbuilt in a S4HANA solution. When your company buy S4, you get this for free. Yes, that's the beautiful thing. You can do the real-time analytic analysis in the system right away. And now you can see all the measures are displayed here. So let's quickly drag this company to rows. And wow, you can see the total sales per company is being displayed in a table. And I can just click here on this chart button. And voila, you can see here, we've got a beautiful chart result showcasing the real-time data from system in form of a chart analytics right over here. You can also export this data to an Excel sheet. You see these are options. You can also see both the chart and table together. This is all part of S4 solution, real-time analytics. Why would companies go and buy separate BW system and do an analysis on an outdated data? They don't want to do that. And maybe the second use case was to see the sales per country. So I'm going to drag and drop country to rows, and that's what my result. And it's time to just switch to settings, chart settings, and switch it to maybe a pie chart, or we can go to a pie chart. And now let's click on OK. And you see a beautiful pie chart being displayed for sales per country, and very apparent that the American region is giving me the maximum sales. And this is the data now, or the result. I want to show it to my end user directly. So I can quickly go here to quick actions, and I save this as a tile, and I say save as a tile, and we can just give the name. I say sales per country analytics in S4, and I say our website anubhavtrainings.com. I can give some description, and I say okay, and this would create a tile automatically on the Fiori Launchpad, and I'll switch directly to the home page. And voila, what I see here is sales per country analytics tile is created on S4 system for your end users, and user can click on this. As a result, they will be now seeing the direct result. They don't have to go and search for the CDS and do all that stuff which we did in the middle. It's not needed, and that's how you can do a lot of great things with S4 HANA system. And this is one of the example of S4 embedded. Interesting, isn't it? So that's how we can build a lot of good stuff in the system. And you see just in last 30 minutes, I was able to get this much of output. Of course, this needs a lot of skill set to be built, and that's what we'll be doing over the course of this time. We will be learning all these concepts from scratch. This was just a preview and the demo of our capabilities of S4 system. You will be able to do all these things yourself, and also even more than that. Like we will be also building an OBP dashboard in S4 HANA with overview pages with Fiori user experience, and in just no time, this is all you can do it, and you can mesmerize your end user with this completely new look and feel and new programming paradigm with S4 HANA. So with that, it's a wrap on this demo session. If you enjoyed this demo session, feel free to give us a thumbs up, and do let me know on the comment box what else do you want to see as part of this demo. Feel free to send an email to us on install.abap@gmail.com for subscribing for this course starting today. This was our session number 1 as a demo. Our classes are starting on regular basis. We will be available and having regular sessions conducted over the weekend, 2 hours on Sunday and 2 hours on Saturday. And that way we will be completing in next 40 hours. Feel free to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon. With that, for me, signing off. Thank you so much for attending this session. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow.